Today we're taking a look at this Nikon F to Canon RF tilt rocker tilt shift adapter. This is a lens adapter designed to mount a Nikon F mount lens to a Canon RF mirrorless camera. And it doesn't just adapt a Nikon F lens to a Canon RF camera, it also gives it tilt shift functionality. Here is the front of the adapter. This is where you mount the Nikon F lens. Here's the back that mounts on the Canon RF camera body. As you can see, this adapter has a beautiful finish to it, very professional. It'll fit right in with your professional Canon RF camera and Nikon F lenses. This blue ring controls the aperture of adapted Nikon F lenses that don't have a manual aperture control ring. It will actually activate the lever in a Nikon F lens so you can control the lens's aperture with this blue ring. And then the shift functionality is activated by this silver lever. You just push this down. You can shift all the way right or all the way left. And then to tilt your adapted lens, you're just going to loosen this golden knob here. And you can tilt down. It's got 10 degrees of tilt and 20 millimeters of shift. And there's also this gold button right here. You push that to rotate the tilt or shift effect to wherever you need it in your scene. But if you leave it in its neutral mode, it works as a standard adapter as well. Now, how exactly do lens adapters work? As you can see here, I've got our Canon EOS R100, and we've got a Canon RF kit lens 18-45 mounted to the camera. And as you can see, the lens mounts directly onto the camera. You know, it's pretty standard stuff, directly on. We can't put any extra space between this lens and this camera. It has to be mounted directly to the camera to work. Well, fortunately, some of these older lenses, like this Nikon F 20mm lens, was designed for a camera that required a lot more space to go between where the film or digital sensor plane was and where the lens mounted, because those older DSLR cameras needed room for the mirror to go up and down. And because we need that extra amount of space to mount this lens, we've got enough space to put an adapter. And that's why we're able to adapt older DSLR lenses to modern mirrorless cameras. We've got that extra room for the adapter, and we can put different types of functionality into the adapter, like the tilt shift functionality in the tilt rocker. Now, this is a tilt shift adapter, which means it takes a Nikon F lens and turns it into a tilt shift lens. And there are going to be a couple complications with that. Now, this is adapting full frame Nikon F lenses. And if you adapt a full frame DSLR lens to a full frame mirrorless sensor, if you shift or tilt, you will get some vignetting. That's why we recommend using this adapter with Canon R crop sensor cameras, like this R100. Now, this is a pretty low-end crop sensor R camera, but you can get higher-end ones that have more tech inside. And if you're going to use a full-frame Canon R camera with this adapter, we recommend using APS crop mode. Basically, what this mode does is it crops in on your full-frame sensor, crops into an APS crop, and that will remove most vignetting when using this adapter. You're also going to want to only use full-frame Nikon F lenses with this adapter. If you use APS crop Nikon F lenses, you will get a lot of vignetting. So we only recommend using this adapter with full-frame Nikon F lenses on an APS crop Canon R camera or a full-frame Canon R camera with APS crop activated. And that gets us to the next question: what Nikon F lenses are compatible with this adapter? And pretty much all Nikon F lenses will mount on this adapter. The Nikon F DSLR mount was a mount that went for many, many years, and they'll all mount on this adapter, and most of them will work. Like I said in the previous segment, you don't want to use APS crop lenses. You only want to use full-frame Nikon F mount lenses. And you can use the older versions, like this Nikkor 20mm. This is an older Nikon F mount lens. As you can see, it has manual aperture control, manual focus control. These lenses will work great with this adapter. And you can use newer Nikon F mount lenses like this G-Type 14-24, but as you'll notice with this lens, there is no manual aperture control. This 20 millimeter, you got the aperture control built right into the lens. This one doesn't have that. You've got manual zoom, manual focus, but no manual aperture control. And the way we fix that is with the blue ring on this adapter. This blue ring communicates with the aperture control arm on a Nikon F lens. As you'll see with this lens, it's this little arm right here. And as we activate it, we're actually opening and closing the aperture. And when we mount the adapter on this lens, we do the same control by turning the blue ring. We just turn the blue ring to open and close the aperture. So this adapter works with the old Nikkor lenses with the manual aperture rings. It works with newer Nikon F G-mount lenses. The only type of Nikon lens this adapter won't work with are AFP lenses. These lenses will not work with our tilt rocker tilt shift adapter because they are fully electronic. To control the focus or aperture, you need an electronic signal communicating with the lens. And because this adapter is fully manual, it will not work with these lenses. So pretty much this adapter will work with most Nikon F-mount lenses except AFP. And because this is a fully manual adapter, you will not have any electronic control of the focus or aperture in your Canon EOS R camera. You will have to manually focus your adapted Nikon F lens and manually control the aperture. So that means you won't get things like autofocus or auto aperture control. You will have to control those things manually. Okay, let's mount our Nikon F mount lens onto this adapter. Very simple to do. You're just gonna find the mounting dot on the adapter, this red mounting dot right here, and you're going to line it up with the mounting dot on your lens. In this case, I believe it's this little black dot here. You're gonna press the lens together to the adapter. Then you're gonna rotate to lock the lens to the adapter. Now we get a lot of questions about how much play is in our adapters, how much play is between the lens mount and the adapter mount. People get concerned that if there's too much play, the lens will sag and you might have some focusing issues. Well, I can show you right here. I'm rotating the lens and the adapter, separate directions. There's hardly any play there. There's a very slight amount, but it's very minimal. So this will not affect your lens in any way. It's on there pretty tight. These adapters have a pretty tight play. Okay, now let's mount the lens and adapter to our Canon R camera. We're just gonna find the red mounting dot on the adapter, line it up with the red mounting dot on the camera, press the adapter into the camera, and then rotate it to lock it into place. Now we've got this vintage Nikkor 20 millimeter lens adapted to our Canon R100, and we've got tilt shift functionality built right in. Really great setup. And before we go any farther, let's check out the play between the adapter and the camera. I'm rotating the adapter one way, the camera the other. You can hear it rattling a little bit. But as you can see, there's very little play between the adapter and the camera. It's a pretty tight fit, and that is locked in good and strong. Now, before we can use this manual adapted lens on this Canon R camera, there is one setting in the Canon R camera we have to change. Basically, these cameras are designed to look for a Canon RF mount lens. And if they can't find a Canon RF mount lens, they won't shoot. So you basically have to go into your submenu inside the camera and tell the camera that it doesn't have to look for an RF lens to work. With the Canon EOS R100, we're gonna go to Menu. We're gonna go to Function Settings. We're gonna go to header number 4, go to custom functions.cfn. We're gonna go to the 4th function, and this function says release shutter without lens. This is what we have to enable to use a manual lens. So let's go to enable. And now we should be able to use our adapted lens. Let's give it a try. There we go. Okay, now we get to the fun part, using the tilt shift functionality built into this tilt rocker adapter. To shift the lens, we've got this little silver button here, and we're gonna press this silver button down to shift to the right or shift to the left. And these adapters have 20 millimeters of shift. You can shift right, shift left. Now, if you wanted to shift up and down, that's pretty simple. You're just gonna press this little gold button right here. This is a 360-degree rotation button. So we hold that down, and then we can rotate our shift wherever we want it in a scene. So now we have it set up so we can shift down or up. Or if you want to shift diagonally, you could do that too. Just rotate diagonally. You can shift diagonally. So pretty much wherever you want to put the shift, you can do it with the rotation button. And shifting, especially with a wide angle lens like this Nikkor 20mm, is essential for certain types of photography, specifically architecture photography. Let's say you're pointing this lens up at a tall building. You are going to see the lines of that building, instead of being straight, they're actually going to be diagonal towards each other. They're going to be leading towards each other, and you're going to get basically a distorted view. It's going to look as if the lines are moving towards each other. Now, perspective distortion is a natural thing in the world, but sometimes it's nice to tweak it a little for a more pleasing shot. And the way you would do that in this case, let's say you have the camera in portrait mode and you're photographing a tall building, you're basically going to press this silver button and you're going to shift up. Just shift up a little bit. You don't have to shift all the way 20mm, and that's actually going to take the lines of the building and make them look straighter. It's going to modify the perspective distortion to make it look cleaner and straighter. Another cool thing you can do with shift photography is stitched panoramas. What you do is you lock your Canon R camera down on a tripod, set up a panoramic shot that you want to capture, and then instead of just taking one shot, you're going to actually shift all the way to the left, take a shot, shift all the way to the right, take a second shot, and then you're going to have two images, and you can stitch these images together in post, let's say in Photoshop, to create a panoramic stitched image. And this is a fun and unique style of photography that I've really enjoyed with our tilt shift adapters. Shooting shift panoramas, it gives you kind of a unique and different perspective to your photography. Now let's take a look at using the tilt function in this adapter. To tilt the adapter, you're just going to loosen this golden knob on the side, and you can tilt down up to 10 degrees of tilt. Now you're probably not going to want to go all the way to 10 degrees, so you can actually use these little markers on the adapter to pick how many degrees you want to tilt. And again, you don't just have to tilt down, you can also use the 360-degree rotation button, press that in, and you can rotate your tilt wherever you want it. So now we can tilt the lens to the left, or we can rotate it over this way, and we can tilt it to the right. And tilting your lens in photography can create a really unique look. Normally, when you have your lens in its normal orientation, your focal plane is flat. But when you tilt your lens, you're taking that focal plane and you're tilting it. Now, not everything is in focus in that plane, just the sliver in the center. So basically, by tilting down or tilting to the side, you are taking your focal plane and you're messing with it, and you're only getting a sliver of focus, knocking the left and right or top and bottom out of focus. Now, if you do a drastic tilt, you can create really cool selective focus effects like these, where almost everything in the shot is out of focus except for that little sliver that you've allowed in with the tilt and then with some manual focusing. Now, this is a unique and fun look, and it is a great look to add to your filmmaking or photography. Let's say you're shooting something that's supposed to look old-fashioned. This is a great way to do that. But if you just want to use the tilt very subtly, you can also do very subtle focus effect adjustment. Let's say you've got two subjects and they're in slightly different planes, but you want them both in focus. Instead of shooting two separate shots and compositing them together in post so both subjects are in focus, you can actually do slight tilting to take your focal plane tilted so that you're getting both of your subjects in focus. This is great for art or product photography where you want that really, really fine-tuned focus. The tilt in this tilt rocker adapter can help you get there. And click here to see a video to learn more about all the specifics of using our tilt rocker tilt shift adapters. Our Nikon F to Canon RF tilt rocker tilt shift adapter is compatible with all Canon RF mount cameras, although it will work better with crop sensor RF cameras or with full frame RF cameras that have a good crop mode. Also remember, this works best with full frame Nikon F mount lenses. It will not work very well with crop sensor Nikon F lenses. If you'd like to learn more about this adapter and maybe pick one up for yourself, click the links in the description below. And comment below if you have any questions about anything I said in today's video. I'd love to help you out. That's going to do it for today's video. Thanks for watching.